Buy the bag, buy the bag, buy the bag, buy the Jordans, buy the goodies. It's time to floss. I got £1,000. No, I'm saving. I'm hitting my goals. Hello there guys, my name is Patricia Bright and you are over here on The Break, where we are giving you the tools and resources to learn, grow, navigate life like a boss and make money moves in the process. I hope you are doing well. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare. So today I wanted to do a video which was all about how I, starting from the ground up, would invest £1,000. I might make this a series if this is something that you guys want to see, but I know how hard it is to save your first £1,000. And if you're watching this, I know what it is like to really scrape together that first £1,000 or that first $1,000. That actually means a lot to a lot of people. And some of your Instagram brains might be saying, buy the bag, buy the bag, buy the bag, buy the Jordans, buy the goodies. It's time to floss. I got £1,000. But then the other part of you thinks about all the deliveries you didn't have, all the Postmates you didn't have, the Netflix you did not subscribe to, and the blank wall you looked at for entertainment because you thought, no, I'm saving, I'm hitting my goals. And now you've got it, you've got that cash available and you're like, so what do I actually do? What do I do with this cash? Do I leave it in the bank and allow inflation to tear away at it? Realistically, you are someone who's probably thinking about how can you actually put that £1,000 to work. In this video, I'm gonna share with you what I would do if I had my first £1,000 saved. Now, before I tell you exactly how I'd invest the first £1,000 I'd have, there's a few assumptions that I would have to have in play. And if you're in this position of having some spare cash that you wanna invest, you wanna have these things ready. If you don't have these things ready, it's not time to invest. It's time to get these things sorted out. Number one, my emergency fund will be in check. That means if I lose my job or something happens or the car breaks down, I've got enough money saved in the pot to cover me for a period of time. And usually some people say that's like 1 month to 3 months worth of your checks or your income that comes in normally. Number two, I will have my bills paid and not have large amounts of debt that need to be covered. And that means if I've got some payday loans or some really high debts that I need covered, those are covered, because realistically, why am I investing when I've got debt? No, stop it. Pay the debt off first, because the interest rate on that debt is going to be worth way more than the interest that you'll gain from investment. So pay off the debt first. And before I also start investing that first £1,000, I would definitely have my money automated and working towards some of the goals that I have. So I've got my paychecks in, I've got my bills paid, I've got some emergency funds saved. That is a position you want to be in before you start investing. And after that, I would then determine what my level of risk actually is. Do I want to make that 1,000, 2,000 real quick? Or am I willing to play the long game and reduce the amount of risk I take? So the first thing I would invest my first £1,000 into would be myself. I know investing in yourself sounds very cliche. I believe that you are your biggest investment. And I think that sometimes people think that their wealth or their success is gonna come from something outside of them. But actually, the more that they put into themselves, the better they grow. If you are able to invest in learning, if you're investing even just being the best version of yourself, that might be investing in you to get a holiday, some peace of mind, and you come back with that epiphany, and then you come up with that amazing idea that makes you a billionaire. Who knows? Investing in yourself is really valuable. I want to get really specific. I would personally, if we're looking at it from a monetary perspective, I would be investing in learning. That might be taking a course, that might be getting some kind of certification, something that is going to actually be able to tangibly allow you to increase your earning. That is a financial investment. And actually, I think this is a great place for me to mention my sponsors, Skillshare. I absolutely love Skillshare. I've told you guys about this so many times. Skillshare is an amazing online learning platform and community of creatives and experts in their fields. There are so many resources on there to learn from the best of the best, people delivering great classes that are going to be able to provide you more value. They have categories from creative to business to technology to lifestyle. If you want to take a class on being an interior designer, it's on there. If you want to learn about UI design, it's on there. If you want to learn about Bitcoin or blogging, It's on there. There are so many experts delivering great classes, and I believe that the things that you learn, they can never be taken away from you. What you learn is something that stays with you forever and will continue to add value to your life over and over again. So I have a special link for you because I am partnered with Skillshare. For the first 1,000 of you guys who click the link in my description bar below, you'll be able to get 2 months free of premium membership. I believe that when you invest in yourself, you can exponentially grow your wealth, grow your knowledge, grow even your network as well. It is one of the greatest investments you can make, and it will pay off dividends. Okay, so my next form of investment would actually be peer-to-peer lending. Now, this is because I want to take a risky route and I've got everything else covered, and I'm like, all right, let me put my money into some of the peer-to-peer lending platforms that are out there. Peer-to-peer lending is when you basically become a bank manager. You give money to somebody. There are platforms out there such as Zopa, Funding Circle. There are a number of these ones that are actually now bank regulated, but they are out there where you give money, and people who need money, businesses or individuals or small companies, they'll use that money to make a profit. Then as they make their money, they'll pay it back to you. You essentially become a bank. There are, of course, risks associated with this, and this is why there are higher rates of return. But if I've got that £1,000 and I'm like, you know what, let's risk it, I would risk some of the money and put it into peer-to-peer lending because it's going to give me a return that I want sooner rather than later. This is risky here doing that, by the way, but that's because I have everything else safe. So next, I would look at investing into something a bit safer, much lower risk, great for me as a beginner who doesn't have much time. I'd look at investing in index funds and ETFs. If you don't know what an index fund is, I feel like I've mentioned it quite a few times at this point in time. So an index fund is basically a portfolio of stocks or bonds that follows the market or tracks a particular market. So you might have an index fund that follows the S&P 500. This is basically going to be made up of all of the firms and all of the companies and all of the products based within that market or that index in particular. Why this is an option is because it's one of the safest options when it comes to investing out there. If you're someone who's looking at investing into the stock market, when it comes to index fund investing, one particular stock might perform badly, but another one might perform much better. And so that balances it out. And what happens, it basically tracks and follows the market. Rather than trying to bet on the wins or bet on the losses, it just follows what's happening. And the history of the market is that it has gone up consistently over a period of time. So if you're willing to put your money in and just leave it, more than likely the data and historic evidence shows that it's going to go up. This is realistically playing the long game. This is very, very passive when it comes to investing. With index funds, you're basically buying a whole section of the market. And this means that you're not trying to pick individual stocks where there are high risks. This is something that is passively managed, so it's actually a cheaper form of investment. And more than likely, if you're following the market, whatever the market does, your index fund will do. But historically, index funds and the market have gone up. And the goal is to put your money into that and just to leave it. I can't lie, it's a little bit boring, it's a little bit safe, but it is genuinely known to work. And as someone who doesn't really know how to pick stocks or do anything like that, I wouldn't just say, you know what, 1,000 on Tesla. Like, no. So after I've got some money in an index fund and I've got some safe options, I would look at buying dividend paying stocks. Now, this is a bit more of a riskier option because stock picking really isn't something that people without experience should do. But there is the option to find some of the classic and safe blue chip stocks that are out there, put your money into them, and the goal would be to make a return on a dividend. My goal would be to basically invest in brands and companies that I know or understood or actually would use their product or kind of have a bit of an understanding around. But my goal would not be looking at selling that stock and trying to make a profit on that because I'm not a trader. But my goal would be to be like, right, I'm putting my money into this because these guys have a decent dividend payout and I'm happy for the money to go in and maybe the stock price goes down. As long as they've got a history of continually paying their shareholders their dividends, I would be happy to put my money into one of these companies. And of course, with my £1,000, another way I'd make sure that I'd invest would be via my pension. Pensions are a really tax efficient way to invest and also to make returns. Of course, when it comes to a pension, you cannot access that money until retirement or until a certain age. But realistically, if I'm being wise and smart, I would definitely make sure I have some money in my retirement. So guys, that is how I would invest £1,000. I would look at a riskier option such as peer-to-peer lending. I would then also balance that out with index funds and ETF options. And then I would then also look at picking up dividend paying stocks as well, and of course put that money into a pension. When it comes to investing, whether it's big or small, you really need to understand your own personal risk appetite and also determine what your goals are. £1,000 isn't going to make you a lot of money, but I do think that the best way you could actually invest £1,000 is probably into yourself, to then actually increase your earning capacity to make £10,000 and then use that to invest more wisely in the market and make some additional returns. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you a little bit of perspective on how you could invest £1,000. I'm not a financial advisor. You don't have to do what I said. You could go and buy a bag if you want to. To be honest, I think that's what I would more than likely do. No, don't do it. Don't do it. Let me know if you're someone who'd be wise when it comes to saving £1,000 in the comments below. Leave this video a thumbs up. But in the meantime, I will catch you all later. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.